Hello and welcome to Unit 2 of our Open SAP course about SAP DataSphere. My name is Klaus-Peter Sauer and I work as a Senior Director in Product Management for SAP DataSphere. In this unit, you will learn how to create your first data model and a simple report. So now that you have access to a system and via IT is setting up the system connectivity to the back-end systems, you can already start to create a first report based on the sales order sample file, which you were provided by a colleague. So the report should show the revenue by sales organization. To achieve that, you need to upload the file to the system, build a simple model, and then the data model is then consumed by SAP Analytics Cloud in a story. I will show you how to do that. First, let me give you an overview of the data builder before we actually upload a file. So the data builder is the central place for data modeling in SAP DataSphere. You will find various editors there. The table editor to create, maintain local tables, edit remote tables, define semantic usage, manage columns, fields, attributes, measures and hierarchies and more. The graphical view editor allows you to combine local and remote data sets into one data model, including filters, associations, joins, unions and other operators you might want to use. In the SQL view editor, you can pretty much do the same using SQL language. The entity relationship editor allows you to create entity relationship models, so arranging your local tables and views and their relations to each other. The analytic model editor is used to define multidimensional models for analytical purposes. So you can basically model cube-like structures with facts and dimensions there. The data flow editor that lets you model data flows into SAP DataSphere, including complex transformations. The intelligent lookup editor allows you to merge data from two entities, even if there is no joining column, which actually brings them together. The replication flow editor is relevant if you want to copy multiple datasets from the same source to the same target in a fast and easy way and do not require complex transformations. You can group multiple tasks into a task chain and then run them manually or periodically through a schedule which you can create. So you will learn more about all of these different editors as the course goes on. So in addition to the editors, there are more functions available in the Data Builder overview. You can import CSV files, what we will do in a minute, but also import objects based on season or JSON metadata files, import entities from systems like S/4HANA Cloud or the SAP BW Bridge. The remote table import allows the creation of remote tables from connected systems. The overview is also the place where you can execute mass operations, meaning for data sharing, for deploying, deleting multiple models. You can also look at the impact and lineage analysis for artifacts from the Data Builder overview. So to import your file and to build your first data model, you need to follow a few steps to start from the Data Builder overview. But let me show you that in the system, how you actually get there. In the system, you navigate to the Data Builder and use the CSV upload function. So you select the source file from your computer, in this case sales order CSV. You use the default settings as you see them on the screen and click Upload. We provide the file with the course materials, of course. This takes a while and gets you to the screen where you could do some further transformations on the dataset. We keep everything as is and click Deploy. So now you give it a name, like sales order CSV, and deploy it. So deployment means we physically creating the table on the database. After a successful deployment of your table, you see the table in the Data Builder overview. Let's click on it. And so we get to the table editor. There we need to give the sales order ID the setting of a key field and then deploy the table. So we can now also look at the data in the preview after the table is deployed. So that shows up on the bottom of your page. Takes a second, and then you can directly preview the data we have uploaded. So the table editor allows you to define tables and its semantics in SAP DataSphere. There are different usage types available, for example, for relational datasets, meaning flat tables. This is also the default setting we just used. There are other specific types for multi-language text descriptions or hierarchy datasets. Analytical datasets are for fact data where you can associate dimensional data to create multidimensional models. In the table editor, you can define or modify primary keys. We just did that in the example. Define compound keys, set default values, decide on the column visibility, associations, field names, data types, descriptions, time dependency, and also the semantic settings. You can also delete and upload new data from files, as well as preview the data and share it with other spaces. You will learn more about it as the course goes on. So now that the file was imported and the local table is deployed, you can use it for further modeling. Let's create a simple view to be consumed in SAP Analytics Cloud for a simple report. And also here, let me show you how you do that. In the Data Builder overview, we click on the Create New Graphical View button. An empty canvas now shows up with a pane on the left for your repository and source artifacts. We open the tables and see our just uploaded sales order CSV table. Let's drag it to the canvas. And now a properties section shows up to the right of your screen. Let's click on the output node, the view. Give it a name like sales orders view. As we want to use it for reporting, let's select the semantic usage for an analytical data set. We also need to expose the consumption, that it's visible for external tooling. Now we get an error message that we haven't defined any measures yet. So let's take them here, the gross amount, the net amount, the tax amount. We highlight them and just simply drag and drop them to the measures section, and the error is gone. So now let's save and deploy this view. So now it's deployed and we can continue. So looking at the graphical view editor in general, it offers the same semantic usage types as for the tables. We have just defined an analytical data set, where the distinction between measures and attributes is required. So the editor also allows for complex modeling using different operators like joins, unions, aggregations, projections, currency conversions, and others. You can also rename and remove columns, add calculations, add filters, associations, and more. You can also model hierarchies with parent-child or level-based relationships. Modeling multi-language text descriptions is another option that may be useful with international businesses that require analytics in local languages like German, Spanish, or others. Depending on the login language of a user, the text fields will then show the respective local language translations, if of course maintained in the data. You can apply data access controls, input parameters, persist the views, and also share these models with other spaces. The data preview is also here possible at each node, so you can check if your operator is working correctly. So let's create a simple report to check on your data model. We use the application switch on the top right-hand side to switch to SAP Analytics Cloud. But let me show you that in the system. Okay, now you can use the application switcher to get to SAP Analytics Cloud. In Analytics Cloud, we go to Stories, create a new story using the optimized language. Let's take a chart. So now they ask us to connect to your data model in DataSphere. So let's use the SAP DWC, select the space and the sales order view, which we have just created. So now in the chart, we have to select a measure. We just defined three, the gross amount, net amount, and tax amount. So let's take the net amount. And we want to report based on the sales organizations. So we select that. And now we basically created our first little report. Let's save it, give it a name, like my first story. Save it, and we're actually done for the first part of our exercise. So in general, there are different options to consume data from SAP DataSphere. SAP Analytics Cloud is offering a direct live connection. That is what we just saw in the demo. You can connect multiple Analytics Cloud systems to multiple DataSphere tenants. Another option is the Microsoft Office integration with the add-in for Office 365 for online or desktop versions. The older SAP Analysis for Office is also supported. Other tools can use SQL or OData-based interfaces to connect to data models which are exposed for consumption. So in this unit, you learned about the data builder, about the different editors and options on the overview screen. You also learned to upload a flat file, use the table editor with some of its features. We also introduced the graphical view editor and some of its basic features. And then you learned how to create a simple story in SAP Analytics Cloud and also how to get there using the application switcher. So that's it for Unit 2. Thank you and good luck with the quiz.